I'm Agent Ghost and welcome to the archives. I just wanted to say, here's another easy build. Back already? Well, thought I had more time to keep jamming. Let's move on to the build breakdown. Before we get into the build breakdown, I just want to preface that I'm not using any exotic or named items with this build, just to make it as easy as possible to put together. And just like my last easy tank build with the follow-up of the God Regen build, I will have a follow-up, like, optimized or more optimized version with exotics and named items following this video, so keep an eye out for that. But just wanted to preface that beforehand so you have an idea why I'm not using things like named items or exotic. Alright, moving on to the specialization, I'm using the Technician specialization for the extra skill tier, as well as the Artificer Hive ability, and we'll go into that later, and the linked laser pointer weapon mod, which we'll go into the weapons right now. I'm using the Foul Assault Rifle because, like I said, I'm not using any named or exotic weapons, But what I would like to state that this is the FAL assault rifle is just a placeholder for now, and I would say if you have the Kingbreaker, throw that on instead. The shotgun and other things is really preference at the end of the day, but if you have the Kingbreaker, just use that instead of the FAL. But anyway, I'm using it, like I said, to not use a name item, to show new and returning players how effective this really can still be even without the Kingbreaker. And, you know, I like a little extra challenge, so that's why I'm using it. So in the core attributes, you can pause and take a look at that. The only thing I want to point out is I'm using to damage targets out of cover, which is the highest multiplicative damage in the game right now. So that's why I'm using it, as well as the talent Flatline, which amplifies our weapon damage by 15% to pulsed enemies. And we'll go over what pulsed enemies look like in a sec. This next part doesn't really matter, but we're still going to go over it. After 3 kills, applies pulse to the next enemy you hit. Now, the reason why that doesn't matter is because in the weapon mods, I have the linked laser pointer. Again, we get that from the technician specialization. And what that does is the technician laser pointer pulses targets at which it is aimed. And what that looks like, here, we'll go right over to the target. Hang on. There it is, right there with that yellow outline around it. When you can see it like bouncing off the ceiling there and everything, that means it's pulsed. And once it's pulsed like that, we are getting a flat 15% weapon damage, which is just crazy. There are the mods. If you want to copy and paste, you can pause to do so. As well as I'm using the AC-12 fully automatic shotgun to build stacks, and we'll go over what we're building stacks in a second. But I have to damage targets out of cover for the attribute. Flatline, again, the talent really doesn't matter. You can put whatever you want. I just have Flatline on mine just because more damage. But again, use what you want. We're using this to build stacks. Those are the mods if you want to pause, copy, and paste. As well as I just want to preface real quick, if you have it, I would recommend using the rock and roll shotgun. You can also use the sledgehammer, but I love the rock and roll shotgun out of these 3 shotguns for the talent perfectly extra, which is plus 50% magazine capacity. And what that looks like is in the mag right there. Compared to the AC-12, you have a 30 magazine versus the 20, but you can only get this in the dark zone. It's a dark zone exclusive, so you have to get it there when its targeted loot is set to shotguns, or is at shotguns. You can't set it in the dark zone, as well as name caches and the countdown vendor if it's there in the rotation, which is rare, but that's how you get it. Anyway, you can just absolutely keep using the AC-12. You don't have to if you don't want to. And for that exact point, I want to preface, like all my build videos for all the viewers, please just use my build breakdowns as a template for yourself and make any changes. I absolutely want to encourage everyone to make any changes they see fit for anything throughout my build. It's just really a template, but if you want the exact results you see, just copy and paste. All right, we're going to move on to the gear set, and I'm using the Heartbreaker backpack. We're going to start things off with that, and when you have 2 pieces of the Heartbreaker gear set, you get plus 15% assault rifle damage, which affects our FAL and or Kingbreaker. 15% LMG damage, we're not using LMGs. 3 pieces, using 3 pieces of the Heartbreaker gear set will give us 15% weapon handling. And now for the 4-piece gear set bonus, which is just the whole star of the show, which is Heartstopper. Headshots apply pulse for 5 seconds. Weapon hits on pulsed enemies add a stack of 1% bonus armor and 1% weapon damage to pulsed enemies, up to a max of 50 stacks. 2 stacks are lost each second. So every single hit that we do will on pulsed enemies, we will get 1% bonus armor, which is crazy, and 1% weapon damage to pulsed enemies, which is also just crazy. In the core attributes on the backpack, I have 146,000 armor. I have an armor core. You can max that out to 170,000. In the regular attributes, I have 10.4 crit hit damage and 6% crit hit chance mod. Just throw in the highest crit chance mod you have. And I'm again using the backpack for the talent Cold, which is cold, increases total bonus armor gain per stack of Heartstopper from 1% to 2%. So boom, right there, the amount of armor that we get with our stacks is now doubled. So just more survivability. It's just crazy. Moving on to the chest piece, we've already gone over the gear set bonuses. I have in the core attribute 170,000 armor rolled, 4.9% crit hit chance, and 12% crit hit damage mod. And we're using chest piece for the talent Max PM, which increases max stacks for Heartstopper from 50 to 100 stacks. So now again, just doubled our armor again. So quadrupled, I guess? I don't know. But it just increasing our armor again exponentially. But not just that, because it's increasing the stacks, we're also doubling our weapon damage output this time around. So it's just crazy. So these two combination, the chest piece and the backpack for the Heartbreaker gear set, can get a little nuts. It's just awesome. Now moving on to the gloves, I have 170,000 armor rolled and 5.9% crit hit chance. In the knee pads, I have 170,000 armor rolled with 11.1 crit hit damage. You can get maxed out to 12%. All right, moving on to the mask. I'm using the Seska mask for the brand set plus 10% crit hit chance, which is just any Seska piece you throw on any build when you don't have enough crit hit chance or want crit hit chance is just amazing. So that's why I have it on here. And then in the core attribute, I have 11.7% weapon damage. I have a red core here and armor and everything else because, again, with the extra skill tier and the technician specialization, we can have this red core and still get max tiers with our shield ability, which we'll go over in a minute. But I just wanted to preface that's why this is a weapon damage instead of armor. In the regular attributes, I have 10.5% crit hit damage, 6% crit hit chance, and a 12% crit hit damage mod. Now, we'll go over the abilities right when we're done with the holster, and I'm using the Fenrir's holster for the plus 10% assault rifle damage in the brand set. And that's just 10% more damage for our assault rifles, again, for the Foul and or Kingbreaker. In the core attributes, I have 170,000 armor. In the regular attributes, I have 4.2% crit hit chance. You can get maxed out to 6%, and 10% crit hit damage. You can get maxed out for 12%. Now for the abilities, again, I have 5 armor cores, not 4, my apologies. I have 5 armor cores and 1 weapon damage core because we can still achieve tier 6 with the Crusader ballistic shield. With that extra skill tier on technician specialization. Just amazing. So you can pause and look at the stats if you want, but we'll go over the skill tier bonus. So the bonus for reaching tier 6 is 60% active regeneration, 250% shield health, and 40% holster regeneration. Just awesome. And then there are the mods if you want to copy and paste. Then next I'm using the Artificer Hive, and essentially you don't have to throw out the Artificer Hive ever, you just keep it on your back, and I'll show exactly what it does in just a sec, a visual. It's at skill tier 1 because the technician, or tier 1 because the technician specialization. There are the mods. I do want to preface though real quick that in this slot I haven't found a mod that actually affects this slot. Like the top one, health, it does actually affect it, as well as range, but I have not found a mod for this bottom left corner that seems to affect the stats whatsoever. So just throw in whatever you want there. And what that looks like when you use the Artificer Hive is I pull out my shield and there's a burst right there. You saw that with the purple and then the kind of like wavy electrical current. That would make it to where if my shield took damage, a portion of my shield would gain its health back. And there it is again. So it's that quick. And I just want to preface, skill haste is disabled. So that's the actual time. I also want to show off what building stacks with the Heartbreaker gear set. Again, it is the Heartstopper 4-piece gear set bonus, and what that looks like with the shotgun is, oh, hang on. There we go. We got to make sure it's pulsed. Now, once it's pulsed, look at all that armor, and you can see it stacking with the heart symbol on my UI with the bullet into it. When that is filled up, that means we have max stacks, and that's all the armor I have and all the survivability. And you can even keep it up pretty easily once you have it with your assault rifle and just keep on shooting. There you go. Almost took out a full named enemy with 1 clip. So just crazy. All right, now we're moving on to the stats, and then we can I'll show the final gameplay footage. So I have 98,000 weapon damage on my Foul, 57% crit hit chance, 111% crit hit damage, 16% health damage with damage to targets out of cover. Moving on to We've already gone over the talents and brand sets, so moving on to defense. I have 1,635,000 armor. It says in the bottom left right there, 1.6 million. That's the exact number, as well as 316,000 max health. That's pretty much it for the stats. So let's move on to the final gameplay footage. Everyone, be kind to one another, take care, and be safe. Bye.